Shrinking fans, welcome back to Tori Talks with Dr. S. I'm Tori. This is Dr. S. Today we'll discuss Season 2, Episode 5. It's called Honesty Era. That's a good era to be in. Are you in your honesty era?
I think so.
You always are.
I mean,
you're a very honest
it's really
person.
hard for me to lie. I'm not good at it, so maybe that's why.
Yeah, good job.
I could get quiet and awkward.
Yeah. No, this is good. It's a good thing. Let's begin with Sean. So Sean tries a very brave thing. He attempts to open up to his father. His father, Tim, just gets defensive and basically makes him out to be ungrateful.
So
How'd you feel about that?
Okay, so last review, I talked about how shrinking is a fantasy because things just work out. You do the confrontation, people admit their faults, and then they make up, and it's all very nice. Well, I was proven wrong this week. I mean, I still think there's time for it to come around, but I actually thought that Sean was going to talk to his dad, and his dad wouldn't be like, oh, yeah, I should have been better. But no, he didn't.
He did not.
No, and I felt really bad for Sean because I love Sean, and what a big step it was for him to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess to self-soothe, he decides to start a fight. He knows he can't win. So I guess this is an attempt to feel something or get the pain out. I don't know what it is, but he definitely was looking for trouble.
Definitely many steps back.
Yeah.
And that guy with the big muscles.
That's all the person. I was like, forget the other two guys. Like, oh, okay.
I was like, no. I mean, he didn't even go in fighting. He just walked up to it and
he unclenched his
fist. He was just like he wanted to punish himself.
All of the above. I think it's like feel something. Yes.
Yeah, maybe numb. I mean, the pain that his dad is causing is maybe more painful, like emotional pain, than the physical pain. So like maybe that takes his mind off of it, and he doesn't have to think about it.
I feel like he's going to be really hurt. Like he's going to be in the hospital.
Oh
like
yeah,
it's going to be
broken
really
fate.
bad.
Like everything's going to be
Yeah. So.
And then so then
we're going to need Paul and Jimmy to step in the best way they know how.
Yeah.
All right. Well. I'm just sad about it. It's really sad. Okay. We do get to learn more about Gabby and her sister and her mom and the dynamic and history of their relationship. So it turns out her sister, Courtney, well, she was an addict. I hate to say that term. You're not supposed to say an addict, but she had an addiction.
Okay.
And I guess it was on and off. And then Gabby had to take care of her through that all. So now I think Courtney she feels guilty, so she's taking care of the mom mostly. Yeah. And it's obvious that the mom has a favorite, and the favorite is Gabby. And I think maybe what they're saying is because she's the more successful one.
Yeah.
Or maybe she put her through less. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Because, I mean, probably in relation to having one child. Like, Gabby's so successful professionally.
Yeah.
And her sister was not, and they had to take care of her.
Yep.
So, and it sounded like it was at a young age, right? Like, Gabby was young when she was having to take care of her family.
Yeah.
So,
definitely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, but it's just, it helps us learn more about her. And did somebody call her out? They said, like, you grew up with an addict and then you date an addict or something? Yeah. So
repeating the cycles. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. I will say that Jimmy and Gabby seem to be on the mend. The relationship's on the mend.
Yes.
They had a really funny scene where they're having dinner together and Mr. Bailey's, the neighbor is trying to get in on it, and they can all yell at him, but not Jimmy.
No.
Jimmy cannot.
Don't you dare be disrespectful.
That's right.
I like how he came with the red underwear, but was trying to, like, not have...
He's like, oh, I meant to wear the black one.
Did you, though?
I don't know.
No, I feel like it was an accident. Would you?
Like yes, but
why would you just show it, right? Like,
yeah.
But maybe it was like a Freudian slip.
He's like, oh man,
I
meant
gosh.
to. I don't know. I just don't know anymore with Jimmy. I don't know if I can trust him. So Jimmy has to console Alice after a boob punch from her friend that summer because she found out. Connor let her know. He told her. He's like, I'm sorry, I had to.
He couldn't live with. He also is a bad liar like me.
Yeah, okay.
He couldn't live with the guilt.
Honesty era.
Yeah. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Now I see it.
Well, Summer had said she's the one that coined the phrase honesty era, and then I think Connor was like, okay, I need to tell her. And then Alice knows she did bad. Alice is not trying to say like, woe is me. She's not the victim. Yeah. So Jimmy handles it actually pretty well, in my opinion, because he said they're talking and her boob is hurt. And he said, do you want me to just storm off?
I love that.
And then he did. But then the next day, tell me as a parent, would you let your daughter skip school to go get a tattoo to make her feel better? well, you have sons, so would you let them?
No.
Okay, I was like, well, that's Jimmy,
No.
right?
Yeah, that's Jimmy. He's Jimmying her.
He's Jimmying her, yes. But I love when she kind of says, guilts him now into getting, because they got the initials of her mom, his wife. And yeah, so then she says, you need to get the initials too. So I think that's kind of cute.
I mean, ultimately, what's one day in school if they needed that bonding moment, you know? And they are still healing. I mean, they're barely starting to heal because the whole prior year he was a mess.
Yeah.
And not really healing. He was like numbing, right?
Absolutely.
So right now they're just barely starting to put their relationship back together. So, I mean, what's one day? But would I do it? Probably no, because I'm Tiger Mom.
But it was a nice bonding moment nonetheless, right? All right, now let's talk about Liz, who runs into an old fling or hookup buddy, Mac. Derek says that's a stupid name. Do you think Mac is a stupid name?
I don't think it's a stupid name, but I love Derek in this episode, getting all petty.
Get a little jealous? Yeah. A little jealous? Well, Jimmy casually says that they ran into somebody, not knowing that Derek has a problem with.
Liz didn't tell him not to say, though.
It's true. In her defense.
They're pretty open. They talk about stuff, so she could have said, like, oh, Derek's sensitive about this guy.
Yeah.
I mean,
true.
Yeah, not like you're gonna lie for her, but you just maybe don't have to mention it.
You don't bring it up, yeah. But because he didn't know, he did. And of course, Liz is doing this blaming. She kind of says, you don't directly do things, but everything always leads back to you. And like Alice, like things that happen with Alice, and just basically like we can all bring it back to Jimmy somehow. But Liz does need to take accountability, right?
She does. And I think she was just feeling feeling sorry for herself.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff has been like not going her way, and she took it out on Jimmy. It was a funny tirade, though.
It was, yeah. I enjoyed watching it, to be honest. I do like when Alice apologizes to her for the whole messy situation with Connor, and then Liz is so awesome to her. She said, well, I love him the most, but I love you second most. And then she says, but don't you have 2 other sons? She's like, yeah. Whatever. So.
I also like how she said, I just need time.
Yeah.
Like a little time. I like that.
Simple.
I feel like we need to do more of that. Like, you know, like, I'm mad. I'm going to forgive you, but I'm not there yet. Yeah. I need to stew a little bit.
For sure.
Be a little
process.
mad.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I wish we could just tell people that, like, you know?
Yeah. What do you think the psychology is behind Alice sleeping with Connor? Is it to have some control over her life because everything's out of control? You know, she lost her mom. Like, what is the actual, in your opinion, school psychologist extraordinaire?
I don't know. I feel like sometimes people do things, like, so they can feel bad about themselves, you know? Like, maybe they, I don't know, like, don't think, because I'm trying to think of the moment that it happened, right? She had gone to see the guy who killed her mom, and I think she was like having to actually start to process like her grief in a productive way, and like maybe not hate this person because he's a person, and also, you know, realize he has been affected by it in a way that she, you know, like, and it's too much, right? Because she wants to hold on to that like hate, like a simple feeling. So I think, I don't know, maybe like creating this whole like sabotaging your friendship thing allows you to like feel bad about yourself and not think about like actual healing.
Interesting.
It's possible because you know, you don't want to, complex feelings are not comfortable. Like guilt, it's self-pity, because she's probably gonna have self-pity now. For sure. Like, oh, look what I did, I have no friends now. You know, it's easier to wallow in that and then not process like do the hard work of grief.
Interesting.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Just came up
Sounds
with that
good to
right
me.
now.
I love it. It's a good theory. All right, we're going to end with Paul, because Paul has his ex-wife, his daughter, his cardboard son-in-law, I love that term, who's very annoying, and his girlfriend. They're all around each other. And let's not forget Kevin. Well, Brian. Oh, yes. I like that he calls him Kevin. But yeah, which was really funny to see all of them together. Now, we do find out that Susan's, because he's like, why are you here? Yeah. That's a good question, right? Well, she keeps it light but kind of morbid when she said, well, you have Parkinson's, so I want to see you before you die. But I also like that they have that conversation where she said, because he cheated on her in the past, and he worked a lot, but she's like, I made mistakes too. Yeah. Like, that doesn't excuse your cheating, but, you know, we're human.
It was, I loved that exchange.
I really liked it.
I liked it too. And, like, it was just a nice, like, I don't know. Well, to learn that that's how his marriage ended, but also that they never talked about it. It was just like a drifting away, you know, like, I don't know. It was just, I don't know. I was really moved by the whole, like, learning about how his marriage fell apart.
Yeah.
And so, but also how they could still become, like, you know, like, not dwell on it. Like, all is forgiven. Like, they talked about it.
Yeah.
And it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it was handled really, really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still kind of like, wow, that's nice. Did you notice that when Brian came to the house, though, he had that coffee cup from that cafe where...
Good catch!
Yeah. I have to admit, I did not catch it. It was my husband, your brother, who was like...
Wow.
Yeah, so he's like, they're like continuing their, you know...
Good job.
Yeah.
My brother. That's, wow, yeah. So, back to Brian. I was wondering why they put the scenes together with him and Paul, which I'm not opposed to, but I was like, what's this about? Obviously, he's a lawyer and everything, but I think it's also because he got to learn what kind of dad Paul was, and he's about to be a dad, so I think it shows the perils of parenthood, and like, because he's so afraid of messing it up, right? And Paul kind of feels like maybe he messed it up, so I like that he's learning from him. But also with the adoption thing, they didn't really go much more into it, but it was hilarious. The person that's the adoption agency,
I love that guy.
So funny. When he was like, would you be opposed to getting, you know, adopting a child that had like special needs or whatever? And then he's like, you can say no like other bad people, or whatever he said. And then he said something about, no, there's no refunds, but there's a 30-day exchange. He's like, really? He's like, no.
I know. The way he delivers the lines is so great.
He's so funny.
Or like with, like, oh, we have some in the trunk.
Oh my God. I hope he's in more episodes. Yeah.
I feel like he has to be. What a great character.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Keep it light. That was a really good episode, huh?
It was. They're all so good. I feel like we say that every episode.
I have not found a weak episode.
I want to say Shrinking's my favorite show of all time ever.
Oh, I love that.
Because
I understand.
I learn so much, or like I reflect on so much about humanity.
Yeah.
About how I want to be as a person.
How you want to talk with people, communication.
Yeah. Like even if I took like 10% of like the amount of like head-on conversations and implemented it in my own life, like you just feel better. Even if it doesn't go the way you want to, don't you feel better when you get something out instead of like keeping it in?
Yes.
Yeah.
This show's very impactful and it's teaching us all.
And people will just call each other out, which I liked also when Jimmy called out Gabby, like, oh, you actually are wrong.
Nice.
Yeah, because why should her sister have to like pay the price for her whole life?
True.
And why should Gabby not have to
but
help?
You're wrong.
Like you helped for that time, but it ended.
Yeah.
Like she's not like, you know, indebted for life, having to pay for her, you know, her struggles. I mean, it's a disease.
Right.
So.
And that is what a good friend would do. Call you out.
So
call you out when
I love that, you know. And then Gabby received it too, which I love it.
Perfect. Okay. What did you guys feel about this episode of Shrinking? Let us know, comment below, and then we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
Help me carry this weight.